Once again, good morning and welcome to our Fall Convocation. I'll wait just a few more minutes for our guests to join us up front. My name is Kurt Guaglianone, and I'm the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs here at this wonderful university. As you may be aware, Convocation is a group of people formally assembled for a special purpose. The purpose of this gathering is for faculty, staff, administration, and special guests to gather in honor of you, our students, and to celebrate your current and future successes and to welcome the new school year. So please, let's give the students a round of applause, and faculty, you may be seated. Heritage University annually conducts this fall convocation in honor of the students to celebrate new and returning students to campus. This year, in order to welcome in the beginning of the new school year as well, we have combined the fall student convocation with the Student Government Association Welcome Back event. The SGA event includes lunch, free lunch, music, and information about clubs, campus activities, and student life. I certainly hope you will all join us right here on this great lawn for lunch and an afternoon of food, fun, and fellowship immediately following this convocation. Welcome, and thank you for making this a great day at Heritage University. As we begin our celebration, I would like to invite Miss Elizabeth Austen, Washington State Poet Laureate, to the microphone, and I invite the audience to please stand as Miss Austen will open our program with an invocation.
This morning, it's time. It's almost too late. Did you see the magnolia light its pink fires? You could be your own unknown self. No one is keeping it from you. The magnolia lights its pink fires. Daffodils shed papery sheaths. No one is keeping you from it. Your church of window, pen, and morning. Daffodils undress, shed papery sheaths, gestures invisible to the eye. In the church of window, pen, and morning, what unfolds at frequencies we can't see? Gestures invisible to naked eye, the garden opens, an untranslatable book written at a frequency we can't see. Not a psalm exactly, but a segue. The garden opens, an untranslatable book. You can be your own unknown self. Not a psalm, but a segue. It's time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Austen. Please be seated. Good morning, and welcome to our Fall Convocation. My name is Melissa Filkowski. I'm the Vice President for Student Affairs. It is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed President, Dr. John Bassett.
Thank you, Melissa. Esteemed is a new one for me. Maybe it's because I was steamy or something like that. Well, of course, welcome. I mean, you've been welcomed by the provost, you've been welcomed by the vice president, you've been welcomed by the poet laureate. What is there left for the president to say in a welcome? I do want to acknowledge our longtime trustee, Virginia Hislop, who's here with us this morning. And I do want to acknowledge the Associate Dean of the School of Nursing at Washington State University, Dr. Cynthia Fitzgerald, that's here with us also this morning. And it always turns out that at these convocations, I find out later that a couple of other board members or distinguished legislators have been sitting in the back somewhere, and I didn't see them. Also joined by Sonia Dodge, another one of our board members. Today, as we begin our fall convocation, we're honored to have one of the leaders in healthcare in the Northwest as our speaker, and in a few minutes she'll be introduced. But first, a few minutes to reflect on what we are doing here. The provost reminds us that our convocation is a kind of calling together, convocare, to call together, in Latin, a convoking to start the new academic year on campus. It's one of those rituals, those ceremonies that give order and meaning to our learning together. And we do learn together. We do talk a lot about knowledge brings us together, but we also know we don't even talk as much about professors and students as we talk about senior learners and junior learners working together. But Heritage is calling everyone together for another purpose, calling our communities, our professions, our peoples together to make this beautiful valley an even better place. Heritage plays a unique role in the valley as the only four-year college here. The University of the Valley to give all youth in the valley the opportunity of an excellent education. The university to research the challenges we face in healthcare, in our environment, in education, our economy, to yield solutions that improve the quality of life. The university to convene the peoples of the valley, peoples of many races, religions, and interests, to work together to achieve common solutions. The university to work with families in the valley to help them appreciate how education can bring their children a bright future. But while Heritage is strong, it is small. A feisty bantam rooster, not the king of the jungle. We achieve so much of our strength and our impact through partnerships and collaborations that increase the options for our students. We achieve our successes through relationships built on trust. And you will find that nothing in life will be more important to you and your success than the relationships you build and the trust on which they're built. We partner with our community colleges to give students a chance to complete a bachelor's degree close to home. We partner with our friends at Pacific Northwest University to improve healthcare in the Valley. And as I say that, I see our friends there that I have not acknowledged before. I see Wendell, I see Bob Sutton. It's great to have you all here today too. We partner with hospitals and clinics to provide clinical experiences for our students. We partner with businesses and school districts to give students experience on the job. We partner with the Yakima Nation, on whose land we are in so many ways. And we partner with our big neighbors too. Some of you have seen UW offices on our campus. They partner with us on Gear Up, our MESA program, some of our community extensions. And we love to partner with Washington State University. Some of you may not even know we're exploring collaboration in engineering with Washington State University Tri-Cities. We have students doing research at WSU's Prosser facility. We have a new grant with Washington State University to encourage STEM study by high school students. We have the potential to partner with WSU and PNWU, as well as other partners, to make major improvements in healthcare for our valley. Like all successful partnerships, it will be built on mutual respect and trust. Heritage is committed to playing that role, and as a consequence, is making a major investment in its healthcare programs. But we are also beneficiaries of supporters who believe in the university's potential. To announce to you one piece of very good recent news, I invite to the stage our founding president, Dr. Kathleen Ross.
Today, we are honoring healthcare professionals with our distinguished speaker, Dean Butterfield. So I want to share with you a significant piece of relevant heritage history and the way it's affecting us today, as Dr. Bassett mentioned. In early 1997, the Washington State Legislature passed a law which would have ended health care coverage in the Yakima Valley for the working poor. They had already adjourned when this outcome became evident, and they wouldn't reconvene until the following January. Meanwhile, more than 9,000 working low-income people in the valley would lose their state-funded insurance. Some Heritage Board members asked if they could stop this catastrophe. Yes, since Heritage was not a healthcare entity and therefore not affected by the legislation, it could sponsor those thousands of people for health insurance. But Heritage would have to take a huge financial risk to meet the deadline in the legislation without knowing if they would be ever reimbursed. So after an agonizing, long discussion, the Heritage Board decided, yes, we have to help these 9,000 plus people. It was a very brave decision. After overcoming the immediate crisis, the Heritage Board then set up an independent nonprofit named the Mount Adams Health Foundation. For 16 years, it sponsored health insurance for thousands and thousands of Valley families until the Affordable Care Act made it unnecessary. So as the Mount Adams Health Foundation closed last June, they decided to use their remaining assets for a new endowed nursing scholarship at Heritage University. So Dr. Bassett received a large check to start the endowed scholarship for nurses. I think this story can inspire all of us to have courage to do what needs to be done, even at personal risk. Indeed, our heritage history can inspire us all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ross. I also notice our board member Tom Mears out there. Is he standing there? I told you, board members all over the place. You just never know. That was wonderful. It's great news. And we know that it's only the beginning of that endowed scholarship. And who knows who in the audience might say, oh, I could make a real contribution to nursing education through that endowment, couldn't I? Don't miss an opportunity. No, Wendell. No. You stay away from these folks. It's Well, and now to introduce our convocation speaker. It's my great pleasure to call to the podium the director of our nursing program, Dr. Christina Nyirati.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bassett, and thank you so much for the gift from the Mount Adams Foundation. Our students are from the Lower Valley predominantly, and this will give the seed to an endowment for scholarships for students who will come to Heritage from the communities that they will return to serve, as so many young people have told me. You've touched my heart. I humbly ask for your support and prayers. Please continue praying for us. Heritage University and Washington State University have an historically good relationship relative to nursing education. In the 1980s, Fort Wright College of the Holy Names, which was the precursor to Heritage University, Washington State Nursing, and others shared a vision to improve nursing education and practice in Eastern Washington. Washington State University took the leadership in preparing nurses with baccalaureate, master's, and doctoral degrees in nursing for clinical practice and research. Heritage University developed nurses at the vocational level, a great need in East Central Washington at the time. Now, Heritage University has become responsive to the Institute of Medicine report recommendations to increase the proportion of nurses with a baccalaureate degree to 80% by 2020. By planning a baccalaureate of science in nursing, Heritage will contribute to a local nursing workforce for the 21st century. We will have a small program, but particularly relevant to the Yakima Valley. In the future, Heritage and Washington State University Nursing, along with other medical, nursing, and health sciences educators, will have abundant opportunities to partner in solving health problems through our interprofessional practice, research, and education. At this time, we look to health sciences education leaders in all of Washington, but particularly to Dr. Patricia Butterfield, Dean of Nursing at Washington State University, for her example and her guidance. Today, I am honored to introduce Dr. Butterfield as our Fall Convocation keynote speaker. Dr. Butterfield has made a tremendous contribution to public and environmental health. She is a public health nurse with expertise in environmental health interventions, rural environmental health, and household-level environmental contamination. She recently chaired a task force for the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, focusing on environmental sustainability in U.S. colleges of nursing. Dr. Butterfield received National Institute for Health funding to conduct the nation's first randomized controlled trial addressing an environmental health intervention delivered by rural public health nurses. She has authored numerous papers addressing environmental health. Dr. Butterfield also is the author of Upstream Thinking, a seminal nursing theory paper widely read within nursing and public health. She has dedicated much of her life to improving rural population health, and this endears her to the mission of Heritage University, especially to Heritage Nursing. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Butterfield.
Good morning. Thank you, President Bassett. Thank you, Christine, Dr. Nyirati. Thank you, colleagues at Heritage University. It's a pleasure to be here today. I have two stories for the Earth, plus a new story of hope and potential. On this day and in this place, I will tell two stories for the Earth, one for Mother Earth and one story for us, her sons and daughters. The story of the Earth is that it is an old and complicated story, green and blue, hot and cold, wet and dry. The Earth needs to sustain us all. Right now, that means 7.2 billion of us. In 1950, there were 2.5 billion people, so that in the time that I have been alive, the population of the world has almost tripled. At the same time, the Earth is home to a complex web of animals and plants, all connected to us in every way. The story of the Earth is that it has been neglected and it is becoming ill. People have taken her resources for many thousands of years. Trees have been cut, coal extracted, and oil drilled in the name of progress. And great progress has occurred, so that compared with previous generations, more of us now live in homes that are comfortable and warm. We have the freedom to drive between cities and across the country to be with loved ones. But those who take the Earth's resources often do not take the time to replace them, to replant, to replace, to let the Earth rest. Last Tuesday, on September 11th, the United Nations announced that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases reached a high for the world. This is not good news because greenhouse gases damage the atmosphere and disrupt the acid base of our oceans. The report said that the rate of acidification in the ocean was unprecedented over 300 million years. The scientists said, "We don't know if this is a temporary or permanent state, and we're a bit worried about that." In shining a light on this issue, the UN concluded that we have the knowledge, we have the tools for action to try and keep temperature increases within 2 degrees Celsius, to give our planet a chance, and to give our children and our grandchildren a future. Pleading ignorance can no longer be an excuse for not acting, unquote. I found this statement by the UN particularly sad and terrifying. How could we have taken such a beautiful place and damaged it so quickly? This is for the students in terms of where your story comes in. I personally know how busy and complicated your lives are. You're university students. Many of you are parents, caregivers, and workers. When I come to Heritage today and when I drove here, I also needed a reliable car and gasoline to get here. I needed to cook my food and I needed a refrigerator. When I drove here from Spokane, and by the time I get home, I'll probably log 600 miles, 30 gallons of gas. So please know that while I'm a conservationist and an ecologist, I'm also a realist. I'm here today. I'm not a do-gooder that pretends that my behavior is green or perfect. If I didn't use fossil fuels to get here today, I'd still be walking somewhere west along the highway in Spokane. Truckers would be beeping their horn at me, telling me I'm an idiot, and the deer in their trees west of Spokane would be rolling their eyes at me. But each of us can change if we are to make this world worth living in. We can change in little and in big ways. I believe both make a difference. Here's some things that I do to soften the way I walk on the earth. I try and buy things that are local because I want fewer ships carrying junk here from China and beyond. When I go to the grocery store, I look at the asparagus. If it's Peru, I think, wow, that asparagus has been on a long trip. Maybe I'll wait until the asparagus from Washington State is ready because we have great asparagus here and great apples and great grapes and more. And if that means I can't have asparagus in February because it's in Peru then that's okay with me. If we all do this, our local grocery stores, then Costco, then Walmart, and other mega stores will begin to get it. We can shame them into doing things better and shame ourselves using local resources and getting back into the rhythm of our own Northwest abundance. You probably recognize that buying local produce is a good idea, but it isn't enough to reverse the acidification of the ocean. This is where you use your power in other ways. This is where I think you, as students, as Hispanics, as Native men and women, hold power for change. Protection of and respect for the land is a central part of many Hispanic and Native cultures. Many of our nation's most prominent environmentalists are Hispanic and Native American peoples. Cesar Chavez's activism from farm worker to environmentalist to labor organizer laid the foundation for pesticide protection and environmental protection in our nation. He fasted for 36 days to protest pesticide use. His actions led to new laws regulating pesticide spraying, laws that need to be re-strengthened and amplified in 2014. Other activists include Native American environmentalists Winona LaDuke and Russell Means. So, we've talked about the story of the earth and we've talked about the story of you and me. Let me introduce a new story, a story of possibility and hope for your consideration. But before I do that, I'm going to take a brief detour to tell you about the connection between our universities. Heritage University and Washington State University have branches from the same tree. Heritage University had its roots in Fort Wright College in Spokane, previously known as Holy Names College. Both of these colleges were strongly influenced by the Sisters of Holy Names of Jesus and Mary, their values and commitment to the full human development of every student. They are foundational to your experience as a Heritage University student. My home base is Washington State University, not Pullman, but serving as the Dean of the College of Nursing, which has its home base in Spokane and campuses in Yakima, Tri-Cities, and Vancouver. Our college is also connected to Holy Names College. Sister Kathleen Ross, your President Emerita, used to be Vice President for Fort Wright College in Spokane. Our College of Nursing was created by leaders in Spokane, bringing together students from several different colleges, including Fort Wright, to receive a bachelor's or graduate degree in nursing. We became ICN and then Washington State University. Sister Kathleen Ross brought her values of multiculturalism and equity to Fort Wright College and Heritage University. Today, we are branches from the same tree, sharing a commitment to student excellence and honoring the wisdom that each student brings to their own experience. So back to the story of possibility and hope for your consideration. Today, we're talking about the story of the earth and the love and care it needs from all of us. We've spoken about you, the complexity of the planet, and how it seems like taking on one more thing to do, especially saving the planet, seems a bit overwhelming. Here's a story of possibility and hope for your consideration. To me, heritage means two things. To many, it means tradition and passing on gifts from one generation to the next. But there is another definition of heritage, and that is the definition of the unspoiled natural earth, the inheritance of the earth. As a student at Heritage University, you are at this special place, a place that can do unique things, a place that trains leaders and visionaries that recognize that culture is a gift, that we embrace and empower truth. Heritage is growing. You have new buildings, new people. You have a powerful opportunity to shape its foundation. Just as bricks are being laid into the soil, you lay down new ideas that will live on through future generations of students. The story I suggest for you is that you work together to build a university that highlights its connection with the earth and teaches students how to care for it. I'm aware you are already doing many things here. You have degrees in environmental studies and environmental science. You have programs in recycling, green practices, carbon neutrality. You bring some of the most prominent thinkers in the United States to this place right now. Heritage of the land is special here, and you can shine a great light on it. Oftentimes, we think that big ideas come out of somewhere else, like Seattle. However, in my experience, many of the most creative ideas in the world come from students that know their roots and stay true to them. Heritage is your university home, a special place in the nation where you learn, you listen, you own your power, and you take forth new ideas to make the world a better place. As a teacher, as an artist, as a nurse, as a scientist, but through your commitment to the earth, Heritage in 2014 can come to have a dual meaning, a commitment to the unspoiled natural environment and a commitment to your involvement in the protection of the earth. So that is the story of the earth, the story of you and me, the story of Heritage University. For me, I'll continue my life's work promoting environmental health and healthcare. For you, please focus first and foremost on your studies. Never deny the power you hold, for it is truly remarkable. If you can, when the day is right, when the sun shines, or the bounty of rain lets go upon the land, think about what you can do to strengthen Heritage University's prominence in environmental protection. Think about a committee that you can serve on, administrators you can work on, changes that you can make. and actions you can promote. In that way, you receive not only the heritage of the past, but your actions assure that generations from now, you will pass on a heritage of the land to them. Those gifts touch not only the future here in Yakima Valley beyond, it is a heritage of power, of protection, and of stewardship for the earth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean Butterfield. What do you think, folks? I mean, more so than any other visiting speaker we've had here, don't you think she gets it? Don't you think she gets us? You sure you don't have heritage in your DNA somewhere? I thought it especially significant as the Dean was speaking that the clouds began to let up and the sun came through. I thought that was important. I do want her to come back up here, and Maxine and Rose, is Rose around here? Rose, I think I'm going to let the two of you take care of this presentation for the Dean.
Thank you so much, Dean Butterfield. I'm honored to introduce our student speaker, Dahlton Madison. Dahlton is a sophomore majoring in psychology and an Act 6 scholar. As the Student Government Association Vice President, Dahlton and his team are working hard to improve the student experience, as well as making recommendations to administration about how we can improve our campus and service delivery. I value Dahlton's leadership and contributions to Heritage University. Please join me in welcoming our student body Vice President, Dahlton Madison.
Thank you, Dr. Filkowski. Good afternoon. A year ago at this time, I discovered my home here at Heritage University. I had begun the journey to discover the person that I one day want to be. For the first time in my life, I began to have a vision of my future. Now that vision, of course, is still molding as I continue to progress in my education and continue to meet inspiring people here at Heritage. What Heritage gave me was a sense of value, an understanding that I and every person at this university have something to offer to the Yakima Valley. When I entered Heritage as a freshman at 19 years old, I quickly started to feel like I really had college and life figured out. 19 years old. I'll have you know that I've had enough humbling experiences in just 1 year at Heritage to realize that I have not yet even begun to understand life at this point. Daryl, a mentor of mine, once shared this story with me. A young individual once approached Daryl and said, "You know, Daryl, I think I've really got it figured out. I really know what life is about and how it works." Daryl looked at this person, put his hand on his shoulder and said, "Don't worry, it'll pass." Well, this person might as well have been me. You see, Daryl had a point in that as soon as we think we have life figured out, we learn something that challenges our views and quite possibly even our morals. We are constantly growing as human beings, and rightly so. The day that we no longer feel the need for growth and the pursuit to learn more is the day that we as humans truly decide to stop living. I do not claim to be full of wisdom, but what I do know is that constant discovery is enrichment to our character. Here at Heritage University, we are discovering who we are, where we are going, and the day we throw our caps in the air, we will know who we are becoming. We will know that the sacrifices that we have made for ourselves, our children, and our families will have paid off. These 4 years are small in number, but they are grand in measure. We find significance in the community of educated people we are becoming to spearhead issues such as poverty, poor access to services, crime, and a multitude of other issues that plague our communities. As scholars, we must be resilient in our strides to pursue something much beyond ourselves. We must be diligent in our efforts because our community demands it of us. In these shadows that loom over our homes, we, heritage scholars, are the guiding light of benevolent change that this valley has asked for and deserves. We are not students, we are scholars. Scholars are and always will be agents of positive change. We, Heritage University scholars, are natural leaders, fit to our roles as agents in change because many of us have seen firsthand the kind of tragedies that tear our communities apart. You see, we are those who do not blame life for the tough hand dealt to us. We do not fold. Understand that the strongest leaders are not those who speak in public and hold a position of power. They are those who do things amongst the great odds placed against them without seeing themselves as victims of life's outcomes or personal failures. We are driven to defy the odds and to succeed in our endeavors, as our presence on this campus is a testimony to those efforts. Successful people are those who believe the future is always going to get better. They believe that every day is a new day to do something truly spectacular. Know that opportunity's doors are not going to open unless you go knocking. By seizing every opportunity with a do-it-now mindset, you will find that you can truly impact this community for generations to come. I hope you come to find joy in learning something new and something exciting. Learn to love and love to learn by exploring every avenue and every subject, because you never know what you will come to love. Do not wait to join a club. Who knows? Your future spouse may be in that club. And just when you think you have life figured out, don't worry, it'll pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Dahlton. If people ever have doubts about what goes on at Heritage University, I say, come on out and I'm going to put you in a room with about 8 or 9 students. And they usually leave shaking their head and say, oh my gracious, I didn't realize what you have here. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. My wife Kay, likes, one of her favorite lines is, John, you never follow directions very well at all. And so here I have to humbly say, I didn't follow directions very well at all that I was given. I'm going to ask Rose and Maxine to come up one more time. I'm going to ask Dean Butterfield to come up one more time, because I'm supposed to be telling you about that blanket. And so if they will one more time, put it around her.
I saw that, but I just was afraid of him.
People know better than that.
Thank you for letting me do this twice.
I tried. This is the basket down dance. Like beloved Pendleton blankets, Hopi baskets are passed from generation to generation and offered as gifts from friend to friend. These intricately woven baskets and the ceremony associated with them inspired our basket dance blanket. Its design celebrates Hopi craftsmanship and traditions. A Hopi basket is offered as a sign of kinship, friendship, and sharing. Autumn is the time of the basket dance, a harvest ceremony performed by women of the Lycon Society of Basket Weavers. The women first gather in a kiva to fast, pray, and chant. They then emerge chanting and dancing while raising and lowering baskets to the 4 directions of the compass. Traditionally, the women toss many baskets to onlookers afterward. This harvest dance of sharing and generosity ensured rain and bountiful crops the next spring. That's our basket dance point. And now it's my pleasure to invite to the stage Vice President Michael Moore, who will offer the benediction.
Please stand. A praise song for the day. Each day we go about our business, walking past each other, catching each other's eyes or not, speaking, about to speak or speaking. All about us is noise. All about us is noise and bramble, thorn and din, each one of our ancestors on our tongue. Someone is stitching up a hymn, darning a hole in a uniform, patching a tire, repairing the things that need repair. Someone is trying to make music somewhere, with a pair of wooden spoons on an oil drum, with a cello, boombox, harmonica, voice. A woman and her son wait for the bus. A farmer considers the sky. A teacher says, "Take out your pencil, begin." We encounter each other in words, words spiny or smooth, whispered or declaimed, words to consider, reconsider. We cross dirt roads and highways that mark the will of someone, and then others who said, "I need to see what's on the other side." I know there's something better down the road. We need to find a place where we are safe. We walk into that which we cannot yet see. Say it plain, that many have died for this day. Sing the names of the dead who brought us here, who laid the train tracks, raised the bridges, picked the cotton and the lettuce, built brick by brick the glittering edifices they would then keep clean and work inside of. Praise song for struggle, praise song for the day, praise song for every hand-lettered sign, the figuring it out at a kitchen table. Some live by love thy neighbor or thyself as thyself, others by first do no harm, or take no more than you need. What if the mightiest word is love? Love beyond marital, filial, national. Love that casts a widening pool of light. Love that no need to preempt grievance. In today's sharp sparkle, this fall air, anything can be made, any sentence begun. On the brink, on the brim, on the cusp. Praise song for walking forward in that light. Thank you.